In a treaty signed in late 1944, Finland and the Soviet Union agreed to end their mutual hostilities if the Soviets drove out Finland's old German allies. The German forces react against the Finns in this fight, known as the Lapland War. Aatami Korpi, a retired commando and prospector, lives alone in the distant Lapland forest with just his horse and his devoted dog. In pursuit of gold, Aatami spends his days mining and panning. Although he can see wars in the distance, he shows little interest in them. He finds a large gold deposit, gathers a sizable number of nuggets, saddles his horse, and rides off with his dog toward the closest town. Aatami runs upon a 30-man Wehrmacht platoon led by the brutal SS Obersturmführer Bruno Helldorf and his Lieutenant Wolf, who are destroying towns while fleeing and have kidnapped a number of Finnish women. Aatami is largely ignored by Helldorf, who lets him go. Soon after, Aatami is approached by a second squad of soldiers who find his saddlebags filled with gold and are ready to put him and his dog to death. However, he quickly murders them all. Bruno investigates after being informed by the gunfire and finds the devastation. One of Aatami's gold nuggets, grabbed by one of the dying warriors, is discovered by him. A landmine kills Aatami's horse as Bruno and his tank follow him to the edge of a minefield. Aatami deliberately sets off another mine to flee while collecting his treasure. The minefield swiftly reclaims the soldiers sent after him. To ensure a clear passage, two of the captive women are told to go ahead. Aino, one of the prisoners, offers to lead the way in place of one of the women. When Bruno finds Aatami's dog tag, he discovers that he was once a Finnish commando who lost everything while battling the Red Army during the Winter War, including his family and house. With little left, Aatami turned into a vindictive, one-man death squad known as Koshei, the Immortal, who murdered hundreds of communist soldiers. Bruno disobeys instructions to turn around and stop following Aatami. Aatami is awakened by the platoon's approach, despite being wounded and worn out. He hangs underneath one of the German cars and punches a hole in the fuel tank, while the troops' dogs follow him, dousing him in gasoline to cover his tracks. Aatami escapes as the platoon stops to check the leak, fending off the dogs by setting himself on fire, then jumping into a nearby lake. Bruno sends soldiers into the lake to wait for him to come up, but Aatami slashes their throats underwater and breathes in the escaping air from their necks. Aatami crosses the lake to the opposite side, but Bruno locates his dog. Aatami finds the town in flames and seeks refuge in a gas station after learning that the Germans had destroyed it. With a lit dynamite stick fastened to his collar, Bruno sends Aatami's dog in search of his owner. Aatami saves the puppy, but the blast makes him unconscious. Bruno, Wolf, and tank driver Schutze hang Aatami from the petrol station sign and leaving him for dead. But Aatami hooks his wounds onto a protruding rebar, saving him from the noose but leaving him unconscious and still hanging from the rope. The wind from the aircraft loosens the gas station sign as two German pilots descend in search of fuel, causing Aatami to collapse to the ground. When the plane's engineer realizes that Aatami is still alive, the pilot gives him the order to kill them both. The engineer is killed by Aatami, while the pilot is rendered unconscious. Bruno plans to use the gold to escape with Wolf and Schutze and arrange for a pilot to fly them to safety, while the rest of the battalion travels to Norway. Aatami, meantime, commands the remaining pilot to take him in the direction of the platoon. The soldiers soon find the crashed plane with the pilot still hanging from the same rope Wolf had used on Aatami. Aatami jumps into the vehicle carrying the imprisoned ladies as the convoy moves forward, murders their guards, and arms the women. He and Aino take control of one of the trucks so that he can climb onto Bruno's tank, and the women can finish off the other truck's remaining soldiers while they are in it. Aatami drags Wolf out of the tank after severely beating him then abandons him at the mercy of the females. Bruno, who ruthlessly murders Schütze before flying off with the pilot. Aatami shoots at the aircraft, critically injuring the pilot, and then uses his pickaxe to get aboard. After a hand-to-hand fight, Bruno subdues Aatami by beating him with a static line. Aatami quickly connects the static wire to a bomb and detonates the explosive through the bomb bay door. Aatami straps himself in after discovering the pilot as the aircraft crashes into a sizable marsh. The women deliver Wolf and the German tank to an unbelieving Finnish regiment under the leadership of Aino. Aatami emerges from the marsh miraculously alive, finds his dog, and travels to a war-torn Helsinki. Aatami enters a bank while bleeding and smashes his gold bars on the counter. In the movie, he eventually talks for the first time, requesting the teller to exchange the nuggets for huge banknotes because they won't be as cumbersome to carry. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.